Hello, very good morning to you. Welcome to the Crucible Theatre here in Sheffield and the 2014 Dafabet World Snooker Championship. We are now just 2 days away from the final. Still plenty of snooker ahead. Later this afternoon, we will see Mark Selby resume his semi-final match against the world number one, Neil Robertson. But this morning, our match live for you here on BBC Two. We'll see the defending champion, Ronnie O'Sullivan, looking to extend his lead over Barry Hawkins.
So the first of our semi-final gets underway. O'Sullivan, defending champion, against Barry Hawkins, a repeat of last year's final. But it was the defending champion who got off to a flyer.
Oh, he's played that very well.
But Barry Hawkins matched it and even more with a wonderful 96 break in frame 2, 1-all.
Very well played indeed.
Hawkins edges ahead 2-1, and in frame 4, a horrendous kick on a red into the corner pocket could have been a turning point in this match. O'Sullivan does what he does best, clears the pink to level at 2-2. After the interval, it was a continuation of bad luck and a succession of missed easy pots from Barry Hawkins. Allows his opponent to gain lots of momentum. From then on, it was the Ronnie O'Sullivan show as he took the remaining 4 frames of the session to go into this morning with a 6-2 lead.
Ken Doherty and his assessment of yesterday's first session. Will it be Ronnie O'Sullivan in 2014 completing an incredible hat-trick? His last defeat here at the Crucible, it's a remarkable run he's on, was back in 2011. Well, Ken was absolutely right in that little report there. A combination of bad luck and Ronnie O'Sullivan fluency led to that 6-2 lead overnight. Hawkins has only just left the practice room with Terry Griffiths, and here he is. He's just left where I am right now, and here he is. I have to say, he looks really nervous today. And when a World Snooker official asked him if he was ready, he said, "How long have I got?" I just wonder whether that's a little bit of pre-match jitters for Barry Hawkins. As for Ronnie O'Sullivan, confidently walking backstage. He needs a good start today, Hawkins. He needs a good start against Ronnie O'Sullivan. The players are ready. The Crucible is ready. Another sellout crowd. Let's join Rob Walker.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. This 17-day snooker marathon is gearing up for what we know will be a grandstand finish. So it's time to once again renew the rivalry which burnt so brightly in last year's Dafabet World Snooker Championship final. But this year, there's only room for one of them in Sunday's showdown. Please welcome a player enjoying the best results of his 18 years as a pro. It all started with the Aussie Open in 2012, then came his run to the final here last year, and earlier this season he won the Players' Championship in Preston. He's shown his battling qualities here already, coming back against Walton in the second round and a magnificent last 2 frames against Dale in the quarters. Here he comes, ready to dig deep once again. So please welcome the Hawk, Barry Hawkins. And his opponent, a magnetic talent who is simply irresistible to watch. Winner of a magnificent 26 ranking event titles, the most recent of which in Wales was sealed with a 147. He reached his first Crucible semi-final back in 1996, and almost 2 decades later, he is still right on top of his game. 5 times he's taken this title. Ladies and gentlemen, he is, of course, the defending champion. Blink and you'll miss him, the Rocket, Ronnie O'Sullivan.
You have to go back to round 2 of the 2002 Scottish Open for Barry Hawkins' last win, his only win against Ronnie O'Sullivan. Get that sofa ready, a long day of snooker ahead, and what a day it promises to be. No better way to start your Friday than with the world champion Ronnie O'Sullivan taking on the Hawk. Good morning to our commentary team of John Virgo and Dennis Taylor.
Yes, a very good morning, Jason, and a very good morning to everyone watching. Ronnie, in the meantime, has forgot one of the towels. Players usually have a wet towel and a dry towel.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Frame 9, Barry Hawkins to break.
It's Barry's turn to break off, and yeah,
off,
he did
please.
look a little bit nervous backstage there, but it's quite understandable. He needs a good session here.
Yes, Dennis, I think that goes without saying. I was just questioning the fact a little bit of a hangover yesterday from that epic battle with Dominic Dale, and I was just a little bit concerned about Barry. He looked a little bit jaded. A strange thing to say, but maybe a good night's sleep and put that behind him, he'll come back. I mean, his pot success, 86%. I know he had a few little bit bad runs of the ball, but you just feel that he's got to start winning one of these sessions. Because when you fall 4 frames behind, as he has done, you can't be losing many more.
Ronnie's had a century break, and Barry's had a 96 almost at the century. Of course, he had the experience of the one-table situation last year when he lost in the final to Ronnie. So, but you do have to pace yourself, and really, when you get to the semi-final stages, you know, you've got as many sort of sessions to play as you did to get there. So mentally, you've got to be well prepared. And well, there's nobody with more experience than Ronnie going for his hat-trick of world titles.
Look at that red that Ronnie missed. You can forgive him. First pot of the morning. His long pot success was higher than that 67%, but 67% is good.
Could you please make sure that phone's switched off?
Yeah, there seems to be a lot of phones going off this morning. And MC Rob Walker, before he brings the players out, keeps reminding people.
Well, Steve Peters is here this morning. He's been working with Ronnie for a few seasons now, and working with the Liverpool Football Club and also the England squad. So he certainly has worked wonders for Ronnie O'Sullivan, and his whole attitude. I mean, so he's got a secret, and it seems to work. Chance to take this pot on. He'll avoid the black if he makes the correct contact. Oh, he didn't get anywhere near the pot. And where's that red going to go? And is there a gap through to it if it does go over the pocket? It's not easy to pot from that position. I think he can get past the yellow.
Yeah, I think Ronnie, when he came out before, Ronnie likes a cup of hot water, and he forgot it, and Leo Scullion had just brought it into the arena. Well done, Leo. I'll give you a nice tip for that, you know. He's a generous boy. So didn't fancy the pot. I think the main reason he didn't fancy the pot, he didn't see a way he could control the cue ball and get on the colour. So just playing safe, keeping it tight early doors.
So it was a cup, not a towel. I thought they wouldn't make the mistake of leaving a wet and dry towel there. So yeah, we've seen Ronnie do this quite a few times, and I think on the cup it said, "Fancy a brew." What about you, JV? Fancy a brew?
Well, for me, you'd have to put a tea bag in it to tempt me. But apparently it's very good for your digestion, isn't it? They say. And he always puts his hand around it as though he's a little bit cold, but it's certainly not cold in the Crucible Theatre. He's a good safety here. It's not a straightforward run back to the balk end, particularly down the right-hand side of the table. Well, he's trying the left-hand side. It's going to catch this red just right. Too thick. What's he left? Surely something.
Well, at first glance, JV, he's left absolutely nothing. That red's not very inviting into the left middle pocket. Covered everything into the right corner pocket, so he's had a bit of a result there. Not a lot to go at there. Sure, he wanted a thinner contact, and once he hit the jaws of the pocket, Ronnie would have thought, well, I've put him right in here, but he didn't. He nearly knocked that in. Has he covered it? I'm just wondering if he can get round the back of the two reds with a little swerve and a bit of side. He can't see it direct, but he might be able to just bend this, hit the cushion first, pot it. Now where's the white going to go? It'll head over towards the reds, so he's not bothered about the white. Make sure you get the red and see what happens to the cue ball. He's playing a dead weight, and he's on the black if he gets this. Beautiful, needs to pull up. Well played. To play a dead weight was excellent.
Well, just that nicely. Got to score from these type of opportunities. Barry knows that. Just to make Ronnie aware that any mistake, and I'm going to punish you. But that is not going to help.
Barry Hawkins, 8.
Poor miss. Just catching that near jaw as we see so many times. The pocket isn't going to accept it.
Yeah, we've seen that type of shot last night with Neil Robertson. He missed it to the near jaw, and then the next time back at the table he tried to play it off the other jaw, and he missed it off that as well. So shows you how tight these pockets are.
Well, I can only assume that Ronnie can get through to this red to the left middle. He wouldn't take this long over a safety shot. And he did, and at the angle, now is he on the black? I think he's found the perfect gap. Good shot.
I mean, the pot was good, but look where he's put the white. I mean, that's a perfect picture to show you that he had very little margin for error there. And what a chance he's given himself. It's just those two reds to the left of the black are a little awkward. If he could remove the one that's closest to white, that would really clear things. And he just nudged those two reds. I mean, he sees the shot so soon, Ronnie. And just that one little cannon, he's got them exactly where he wants them.
9. $16. $17.
Just that red immediately below the black is just a little bit awkward, so he's got to avoid the kiss on that. It's one of those reds, and it's gone wrong, this. Well, let me put it this way, he's got pots
24.
on, but it's certainly not as played. And it was all because of that red just below the black, just stopping the natural angle of the cue ball. He's got this red to the left corner, he's using extension on the rest and the cue. So, he'll take a good shot here to control this cue ball and finish nicely on the black. Don't think it's straightforward.
That's why he's coming around the table to have a look, because if he tries to just screw it in gently, the red to the right of the one that's behind the black is in the way. And to try and find a gap to get round for the blue, you'd have to go between the red on the cushion and the black. So there's a few obstacles in his way. So it's all about the cue ball here. Under the circumstances, he did well there. I'll just show you the cannon. Kept himself on the black, and one more little cannon, and he's perfect here. He can cannon the red just near the pink spot. I think he can hold for that. It might be a delicate one, but if he could hold and cannon that, he'd leave himself a choice at 3 reds. But is it a bit too thin for that? We'll find out shortly. That was about as best he could do there, and he's in an ideal position again.
Yeah, always remember when you're playing that shot that the slower the screw, the more chance you give for the backspin to take effect. If he'd have played that any harder, as Dennis said, he may not have got the cannon. But as per usual, Ronnie not missing a trick when he's in the balls. Didn't want to play for the red along the top cushion, and
40.
I was watching the match last night, and you and Willie were commentating, and I agree with Willie. When it was a two-table situation, the pockets seemed a little bit easier to me, but not now they've got to this one table. They look very sharp down the cushion, particularly when they're just off it. So Ronnie concentrating on leaving that red where it is. He's got a 40-point lead now. Just a couple of good positional shots away from thinking he's going to clinch the frame at this visit. It's not straightforward.
Yeah, I'm not sure which of the tables they've used. They would use one of the two tables for the semi-finals and finals, and you'd think the pockets would be the same, but of course you've got a brand new cloth on again, which in theory should make the pockets slightly easier to start off with until they have a few sessions played on them. Now this is not going to be straightforward unless the two reds are above the pink spot. If one of them goes, not a problem, he can stun down for that. And I think the left of the two reds will go in the corner. We'll find out the way he plays this shot. Yeah, no problem at all. There'll be plenty of room. So he's just 2 or 3 more pots away from
56.
securing this opening frame and extending his lead.
Yes, 48 ahead, 83 remaining. 3 reds. And that should see him past the
57.
winning line. Another excellent positional shot from Ronnie.
64.
He cues the ball like a dream. Quick glance at the scoreboard. What would be an ideal situation here? Pot this red, play for the pink in the same pocket. If he leaves himself straight on the pink, those 2 reds to the left of the pink, no problem getting it on. I think that's what will be his plan. People say, how many shots ahead do you look? This is one of those occasions where you would look a couple of shots ahead. So you play for the pink.
65.
And if he's straight enough, which he looks to be, just stun the pink in, and you've got either of those 2 reds to the opposite corner. And after this pink, 1 more red required. Had his chance, as he had in most frames. Okay, the first session had been unlucky with a few bad contacts. But he wanted a good start, as Dennis referred to, and he's not going to get it.
71. 72.
Come up a little bit short.
79.
Give himself a chance for the century break, but with the way the reds are, very difficult. But he will be trying hard because he is closing in on Stephen Hendry's record. He's had 742 centuries, Ronnie. Yeah, I think Stephen's record's 775, if I'm not mistaken. Good effort, but he needs some sort of trick shot or a double to... Well, there's the ball. Wait, oh, hang on. Oh, not quite. The best possible start for the defending champion. He only needed 1 chance, and with that break of 83, he extends his lead. It's now 7-2. Well, that's the cup that keeps the world champion's hand warm. Barry Hawkins, as John alluded to, did have a chance. He was in here and he put this on the near jaw. That's the right hand jaw as we look at it, and he was concentrating on the white as well, and as soon as it touches that jaw, know where they'll go in. And that was the end of frame, John.
Yep, and the worrying thing for any snooker playing Ronnie O'Sullivan is, you know, when you get those chances in amongst the balls and you miss it, the pots, and leave him in, you fear the worst, and it happened. Talking about the pockets, as whether they're a bit tighter or not. When the 6 times world champion on the second day said, "Oh, they buckets," maybe jokingly, the table fitters might think, well,
Thank you,
we're not
ladies and
going to do
gentlemen.
that in the final
Frame
session.
10, Ronnie O'Sullivan to break.
Maybe it's Steve Davis's fault they're a bit nippier, these pockets. So Ronnie gets frame 10 underway. Looks quite comfortable with himself, and even backstage, I know he's been disappointed with 1 or 2 of his performances, but he looks as though he's up for it. And why wouldn't he be? Chance to equal Steve Davis' modern day 6 world championships, and of course aiming at Stephen Hendry's 7, apart from other records.
Well, he's pushed one over that left corner pocket, but the black's a bit awkward. Pink tied up. And there you can see the pocket. Yeah, you see that angle there is the rubber underneath the cloth as it goes round in. It just continues round into the pocket. Many years ago, that rubber was shaved slightly so that the ball would hit the corner of the pocket and drop in. But that's not the case these days. With some of the club tables, if you look at the pocket, if you play, you'll see that the rubber is slightly shaved as right in the corner of the pocket. And of course they do have templates that fit into the pocket, and they must fit in. That's how they decide how big the pocket opening is.
7.
But only a fraction can make such a difference.
Yeah.
Just asking Leo Scullion to clean the cue ball. I think that's just giving Ronnie a little bit of thinking time. He's on this red. He'll be thinking sooner rather than later. He needs to bring other reds into play. It's the type of pack you maybe like to do it off the blue.
15.
A little bit straighter than he would have liked. So having to play for the loose red, and as I say, if he gets the angle there, if he has a choice.
22.
No, decided on the black, but if he's straight again, he'll be wishing he'd have played for the blue. Not going to leave the next red too easy. He's having a look now. He's looking to see the... Well, there is a red on the right-hand side of the cluster. Goes to the far left corner. That's about as good as he can play for, I think. Very straight. So playing for that red to the far right corner, needs to slow up, otherwise he'll be... Well, it is the far right corner. Or the far left corner. Got a choice of 2. No problem. And now a nice angle on the black. And I think he would be going into them this time. As I say, it's the type of pack you'd like to go into off the blue, but I don't think he'll refuse this opportunity.
Yeah, if he hits the reds. Just to the left would be ideal. He plays this very well. It's more of a stun shot than screwing into them, because the white can come back towards the black. But if he just gets that with a stun, it really will open the reds up, or just the one on the left even. That'll do very nicely.
Yeah, as you said, Dennis, and because they were loose, there was a few loose reds. You didn't have to hit it with a lot of pace, just controlled Cannon.
39.
And, okay, you might feel he's not spread the balls far and wide, but it's in a situation now where if he pots one, he clears the pocket for another. And that was his brain ticking over there, I think, just thinking, right, pot the black, play for the red in the same pocket. And this is where he's a delight to watch.
46.
It's nice to see him enjoying the game. He brings so much pleasure, it's got to be said, for any of us who've ever played snooker. It's just a joy to watch. Disappointed with that, though. He's overscrewed that.
Still taking it on, though. It's much thinner, but he can still get into the pink here. And that might be a problem now. I don't think a red goes into the corner. Maybe the outside
52.
one pots. The one that's just near the pink spot. Yeah, just enough room for that. He almost went into the middle pocket. He put everything into the pot there and forgot about the white. He can get through to the yellow if he wishes, or he can just put a colour, say if he's got a 53-point advantage. But he does seem to have got his focus back. I know he played really well against Sean Murphy, but there were signs that he was just losing a little bit of focus. You can tell sometimes with Ronnie's expression, but he's looks in great mental state, should I say.
Ronnie O'Sullivan, 53.
Well, listen, Dennis, you know better than anybody, you know, if you're not happy here and you know, the game's hard enough as it is, isn't it? And if you're struggling a little bit with your form. But yeah, I think that Sean Murphy result was a big boost for Ronnie. And to win with a session to spare was a real bonus.
Yeah, just going back to Barry Hawkins, you know, I mean, what he did in the last two frames against Dominic Dale after losing 7 frames in a row, you know, was brilliant, and it will have taken quite a bit out of him. But the way Ronnie's cueing, this could be a very tough session for Barry Hawkins, because that type of shot tells you that you're cueing really smoothly.
Yeah, looks an obvious cannon, the red on the right-hand side of the cluster. Just nudging on, he didn't get into it enough. That's a little bit careless from Ronnie. He won't be happy with that one.
8.
Wanted to catch that red full ball or half ball the other side. So another frame winning opportunity, and he's let it slip.
Ronnie O'Sullivan, 8.
So Barry Hawkins not out of this frame yet. This really would be a frame against the head, so to speak, Dennis.
Well, he's taken the opportunity of bringing the red into play, the one that Ronnie knocked safe. This will move a few of the reds. He'll be hoping to knock another one onto a cushion while playing the safety shot here. He might even be able to take a pot on. And there it is. A classic shot to nothing there. He had the safety shot. Now that he knocked the red in, he can put Barry in trouble.
Ronnie O'Sullivan, run.
I tell you what, he's hard to play against if he starts knocking those in.
Well, absolutely. I mean, that was a tremendous pot, and as you said, it was the classic shot for nothing, because if it doesn't go in, look where the cue ball finished. And once you get this type of shot, and if you can get them with regularity, even if you're not on a colour, we know what comes next, and Barry has got to get this safe, and this is not guaranteed. And we know how this misrule rears its head. 62 points behind, 67 remaining. So now 66 points behind with 67 remaining. Ronnie will have it replaced. If he doesn't hit it this time, he'll need a snooker. Another 4 points away and he'll be 70 behind with 67 remaining.
Yeah, they used to call it a deliberate miss, but how would you be trying not to hit a red when you know you're going to need a snooker? So they changed that to the miss rule. So very well played.
Well done. Little tap on the table from Ronnie as well. That's nice to see in appreciation, but Ronnie just needs one red. Probably wouldn't play it here, I think. Just tuck this red to the side cushion and take the cue ball to balk. Well, that's a strange way of playing it, but obviously felt being on the right-hand side of the table, he made it a little bit more difficult for Barry to play safe. Not quite certain about the merit of that shot, but it was his choice, and who'd argue with Ronnie? So Ronnie's had a good look at these three reds in the middle of the table. I don't think it's a three-ball plant, but the left hand of the reds he will be hoping to knock to the top cushion. Just needs a good cue ball. Trying to swing it round off two cushions. Trying to get in behind the yellow. It's not bad. Great length. And he's knocked a red that's close to this right corner, which Barry can't get through to. Right behind the line of the shot, and that's Barry's view. We'll give you a spin, and there you go. Decent cue ball, this. That was a good shot from Barry. To not leave anything easy. He's played an excellent shot. And Ronnie has got a little bit of a problem. Barry at the moment, 66 points behind, 67 remaining. If he does get a chance, he needs blacks with these remaining reds and all the six colours. Big ask. Ronnie may be forced into playing a pot here. He only needs the red. And the safety is by no means guaranteed. Well, here's half a chance. It's a big shot, big moment in the frame, but the type of frame we've seen so many times, if a player can steal it, it can turn a session at least. So a big shot this now for Barry. Great pot. He's giving himself a chance now. But he needs blacks off every red to be able to win by one.
Barry Hawkins, 1.
And now he needs a snooker. 65 points behind,
Guess.
59 remaining.
Thanks, mate.
Quiet, please.
Go back to 10.
Tough.
One.
It's not a nice seat that at the moment for Barry Hawkins, Dennis, is it? Alone with your thoughts and not getting a lot of table time.
9.
Yeah, you can see this semi-final slipping away frame by frame, but you've got to hang in there. He knows what Dominic Dale did against him. And you've got to be thinking to yourself, well, there's only one player who can be at the table. So if you keep knocking
60.
them in, he can do what Ronnie's been doing to him. But it's a big ask of him.
70.
You got to have that hope, and he's got the ability to do it if he gets a chance. He finished his match with Dominic Dale with a couple of frame-winning efforts, so we know he's quite capable. But 8-2 down against the defending champion. It's not looking good.
22. Okay. 23.
Playing well and truly over, of course, just a case of whether Ronnie can add to his
28.
first contribution, which was 53. Could better that here.
30.
Well, not quite. The green hasn't dropped, but that's more than enough. So another frame. OK, he didn't have many chances there, Barry Hawkins, but one sometimes is all you're going to get against Ronnie O'Sullivan. Barry Hawkins falls further behind. Now 6 behind. 8-2, Ronnie O'Sullivan.
Well, Ronnie looks in superb form this morning, and when Ronnie O'Sullivan starts knocking in the long pots, you know you're in trouble. This was a pretty straightforward one. It's classed as a long pot, but it was quite an easy red. This one here, nice long one up into the corner, judged nicely. But this was the shot for me. He cued this beautifully near the cushion there, and couldn't have played it any better. And of course this was the one that clinched the frame. I mean, that is a superb, as we said at the time, classic shot to nothing. Now we can give you some of the stats of how this match is panning out. But the one thing that Barry Hawkins has got to do, JV, is he lost 7 frames in a row. He's 7 frames behind, and he lost 7 frames against Dominic Dale. You've got to be thinking to yourself, well, if Dominic Dale can win 7 frames in a row against me, I could possibly do it. But I mean, will he be able to just make a mini comeback?
Well, he's just going to take every opportunity that comes his way.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Frame 11, Barry Hawkins to break.
We've got a lot of snooker fans around, and I managed to play a frame against this gentleman, Paul Hollywood, a great British bake-off star, delightful fella, and not a bad snooker player. I think he bakes slightly better than he pots. A great character. Oh, this red's going right. It might go in the pocket. Well, when things are going well for you, that's the type of thing that happens. When they're not. And he's on the yellow. He's got an angle on the yellow. You can get up to the reds near the black here. Well, they've got the one in the middle of the table, but in a couple of shots' time, he'll be on the 2 reds near the black. They're not perfectly placed.
I'd like to see that what we consider a fluke here, because I didn't see Ronnie apologise. Did he think a possible plant? No, there's no way. So he must have apologised and put his hand up. He would normally. I just didn't see it.
Four.
Let's have a look at this shot here. If he pulls this off, what's the positional side of this? Overdone it. Bit unlucky.
9.
Yeah, I like you thought he may play for the red that was just to the right of the black there, but yeah, as you say, overdid it. And that red was a little
Ronnie
bit
O'Sullivan, 9.
too difficult to cope with. Always are when you're playing into a blind pocket. You can see the cue ball, you see the object ball, but the pocket's out of vision, so you've got to pick that spot, as you can see. Ronnie couldn't see the pocket, it wasn't in his eye line. So for once, Barry has seen Ronnie get in and not score a lot. In the 2 frames this morning, Ronnie in the first frame had a break of 83. The last frame he had a breaks of 53 and 30. So not getting a lot of table time, isn't Barry? Just 9 points to his name this morning so far. Bit thin on this.
You can get past the pink just to glance off the reds here. That's pretty good. Very well played. Yeah, when we talk about a blind pocket, we can show you here. He's trying to cut this into the left corner. Now, if Hawkeye shows you, that's the potting angle. You can't see the pocket in your eye line, so that's what we mean when we say he's cutting it into a blind pocket. I mean, the thing is, Ronnie's got such a good tactical game as well. Ronnie was down looking over Barry's shoulder there. There's 2 reds. I don't know if they're a plant into the right corner or whether the other red's in the road, but he can't get through to it anyway. So we can only see this 1 red, and it's not the sort of shot you'd want to be taking on. There's no colour available. Yeah, well played. Lots of check side there. So they're just going to the left of the pocket, but if you're in the right position, you could squeeze that and make the plant. But how would you get into the right position with all those reds blocking them?
Well, Ronnie's left a pot to the right corner, but what a superb length of cue ball, and that's the problem for Barry coming to the table. If he could get his hand on the table, he'd knock this red in, no problem whatsoever. But tight under the baulk cushion, different matter. Well, he's given it plenty of thought. It looks like he's taking this pot on. If he does, he needs to get it. It's very dangerous. No, he's played the safety. but he had to be very, very thin.
Foul and a miss. Ronnie O'Sullivan, 4.
Ronnie may not have it replaced because, oh yes, he is doing. He just sees it as a very difficult safety shot for Barry. The only reason I thought Ronnie may not have it replaced, there was a chance with him, with his hand on the table, to pot this red that Barry's trying to play thin off. We'll get a warning now.
Foul and a miss.
I'd come around and have a look at the possible plant now, Johnny. He did have a glance at it, but he's got to hit a red now, otherwise he loses the frame. I mean, Ronnie can take that red on, as you mentioned, and he probably will this time. Because there is a path round the back of the black, you would feel.
Yeah, the thing is with that plant we looked at, you'd have to hit the first red on the right-hand side, as the player looks at it, to push the second red to the left, and there's no way at the moment from this angle, but you can pot the loose red. Ronnie fancies it now.
1.
Nicely controlled positional shot. Give a little bit extra so he'd be on baulk colour. Didn't want to risk everything by trying to get a nice angle on the blue.
I do love that side-on shot. It shows you how long the snooker table is. You know, it's 12 foot by 6 foot, and sometimes it looks smaller on the television, but that side-on shot shows you exactly how big the table is in comparison to the player. I think people, when they come to the Crucible for the first time, they say, oh, I didn't realize the table was so big. Well, look at this shot. And he's not straight, he can get out on the black.
Yeah, I thought he was going to be unlucky at first, didn't you? He just flicked the red, but the red just bounced back off the cushion. If we look at this, he didn't want to knock this red tight to the cushion, but it went to the cushion, but bounced out, and as you say, then he's got the perfect angle. Now, you could definitely think about playing this plant because, as I say, if you hit the, as Ronnie will look at it, if you hit the first red on the right-hand side, it'll push the second one to the left, and they're so close together it can be made quite easily. Might decide to save it for an emergency.
Eleven.
Come a little bit straight on this red to the left middle. You'd like to more of an angle, so in potting it, he could get on the blue but be a little bit further away from the cushion.
12.
But that's where he's so good, isn't it, Dennis? He plays his little stun run through just to widen the angle, makes it look so easy, but you know, you've got to have a good touch to play them. Well, this plant will be no more because the red, the left hand of the two reds,
7.
that's the one he's played on. I think he may have to go back up for the blue. I don't think he can play for the black off this.
18.
He didn't get into that one at all. He won't be happy with that. It's difficult now. Look at the cue power he's generated there. What a shot this is. I mean, he made that look easy. That was so difficult from that angle.
23.
All the top spin inside on it, sent it right around the table. That's a little beauty. Just looking at the tip, sometimes the little fibers are just, you can see it when you look down the cue. Have a little bit of very fine sandpaper just to smooth the edges of the tip.
A little smile there from Ronnie. Just overhit that a little bit, but to the extent he may decide to play the cannon here. If he played the cannon on the pink, he'd still leave the red to the right middle. So you wouldn't have to play it with a lot of pace, but if you got the cannon on the pink, he'd have a red to the right middle. He's in the position where he thinks there's enough loose reds, don't really have to go into them hard and trust to luck. So control cannon. Well, in the end, he decided to play it with pace. And the question, well, he's got a red to the right corner. He'd be slightly hampered queuing.
29.
Didn't want to risk just playing the cannon on the pink. As long as he keeps control of this red, I think it's the one on the extreme right of the table. I don't think he can get through to the one he was looking at there. So just get, well, he cues it so nicely, doesn't he? Awkward cueing it appeared, but no problem.
30.
And now you wouldn't expect him to not take full advantage of this opportunity. This looks like another frame that Barry Hawkins, he's not going to get much of a chance in.
35.
It's hard for him at the moment.
36.
And I think what you alluded to as well, he's only just great potter break builder. It's just Ronnie's tactical game can freeze players out. You know, I mean, you say that about Steve Davis. You'd never have said that about Stephen Hendry, for example, would you? That his safety play would freeze a player out. Stephen was a potting machine, a break building machine, but Ronnie's got an all-round game that you felt even if he wasn't at his best, he could win matches.
Yeah, Stephen Hendry's great line used to be, he thought safety was overrated. But that was the way he played the game, and that was why he became one of the greatest cueists of all time.
50.
In fact, I thought he would remain the greatest cueist of all time, but I think Ronnie may just have overtaken him.
55.
Frame already safe.
56. $63. 64.
Well, he's just cueing so well here. He's back at his best. And he's doing what comes natural to him. He's made 7 centuries so far this year at the Crucible.
79.
This would be his 8th. And it would be 48 in
80.
total. We had 55 centuries last year here. Long way short of the, I think the record's 80 or 81 in the
85.
But this has been
87.
flawless. Yeah,
90.
it looks very, very comfortable out there this morning.
$94. 99.
Century number 8 for Ronnie O'Sullivan. And that is Ronnie's 8th century in this year's World Championship. The Rocket is on fire at the moment, and he extends his lead even further. He now leads 9 frames to 2. Well, he looks in great form, and some of the shots, we've got another couple of shots for you here. I mean, this one here, the position, he was playing for the red that's near the cushion, and well, JV may have thought maybe he just flicked it and ran out of position. He was playing to drop in behind it, so we'll show you the shot. So he stuns it in with a little bit of left-hand side, twice across the table. He was playing into the gap there. It was still a great shot, and when he flicked the red, we thought it was going to be dead straight, but he had the angle, and he went on to get nicely on the black. But the one just off straight, John, this was some shot with, you know, top spin and lots of side on it.
Yeah, absolutely superb, and you could see the way he had to get it through there. The cue came off his hand because he was really having to get that cue through, get that top spin on, as you say, just a little bit aside, and found himself on that awkward red. So one more frame before the mid-session interval. And it's been plain sailing, it has to be said, at the moment for Ronnie. He's not being put under any pressure. 94% pot success. Barry now down to 84%. That won't win him this match, or most matches played at the Crucible. And the points, well, as the scoreline suggests, Ronnie running away with it. The tap on the table there from Ronnie, so that tells us it's a good safety from Barry. But Barry needs an opportunity, needs to score heavily, just for his own self-esteem, you feel, at the moment. He's a bit player.
Foul, I missed.
Well, that come off very square.
Barry Hawkins 6.
Leo Scullion, our referee, as the crowd laugh. And Barry, nice to see he's still got his sense of humour. I mean, he's 9-2 behind. He can't get in amongst the balls. So I suppose, I think Ronnie is just a readjustment. He landed in the side of the Reds. I don't know whether he played that last shot playing ball or whether it just come off square. Little touch of left-hand side. We'll take him past the pink. Oh, now then. He may have made a mistake. He hit it a little harder than he intended. So this is the first chance that Barry's had, really, since he missed that fairly easy red. I think it was the opening frame.
One.
Well, he's just pushed that other red safe, which I'll just show you. I'm just flicking the reds and putting Barry in, but when he played that cannon, he flicked the red safe. Oh, that needs to keep going. He's underhit that, I think. Let's have a look at Barry's reaction.
8.
Yeah, he's underhit that. And there you see it. He wanted to be further to the right, pot the red, cannon into the other reds, give himself a chance, but I suppose he's out of stroke at the moment. He's had very little table time.
Barry Hawkins 8.
Yeah, he wanted to be further out into the table. He left it a long way short. Well, I say a long way, you know, another 3-4 inches. Let's see. Yeah, he's always there. He's overran it a little bit that time, Hawkeye, I think, JV.
Yeah, he's getting a little bit too cocky, is Hawkeye. But going back to that first chance of Barry's there, what a mistake to pot the red and cannon the second red and tie the two reds up near the top cushion. I know he's not had any table time, you lose your touch, but you cannot do that. If he knew he was going to run into that, he should have played it firmer. And that in itself was a bad mistake and left him in a position where the only red he could play for was the awkward one at the side of the cluster. But that's where it went wrong from the opening red.
Well, it's turned out to be quite a good safety shot. He's smiling to himself. He just didn't find the gap he was looking for there, but it's turned out okay. He could do with a bit of good running, as we show you this. He's trying to miss that red and find the gap, and in the end it turned out to be quite a decent safety.
Yeah, and he's going through one of those times that, and we've all been through it, where you just don't seem to be able to hit the ball as you aim it. Now, whether it's because you're just sitting across it slightly, it can happen when you're sitting out most of the time. Obviously, he's got no rhythm going, and that is the thing. And I think it's fair to say now at this point that a lot of people over the last year and a half, couple of years have been saying, well, it depends which Ronnie O'Sullivan turns up. Well, the Ronnie O'Sullivan who's turned up as the last two World Championship, no one could question his application. And that's why it's very difficult for Barry at the moment. Look, he's all right, got away with it. Look where he's finished when he comes back to the table. Ronnie not giving him any space to breathe.
He's hit this much too hard. But the reds, look how the reds are situated now. So Ronnie knows if he takes yeah, that tells you if he takes this long red into the left corner, he'll have to get it. I mean, if Barry somehow could get a chance with the red sitting like this, might be able to play himself into a little bit of form. So let's see what happens here. Now then. Mind you, at first glance, there's no easy starter. I think the only potable red is the one into the right corner. I'm not sure what's available into the left. They look to be blocking each other. He's one of the best rest players I've ever seen, Barry Hawkins, and he's going to have to call on that prowess now. That tells you, I mean, I've seen him miss very few shots with the rest, but it's just the situation that's caused that.
Thank you.
He knows the way the reds are. It's not easy to get onto a colour, and the pressure on that pot was just too much because he knew he was sticking Ronnie in. And Barry knows only too well if Ronnie gets this positional shot correct to start with, he can get onto the black for the same pocket.
One.
He didn't play to cannon the red, that's for sure, but he'll take that. He was just playing to miss that red and get nicely on the black, but the cannon has worked out okay. It'll need a delicate little cannon here to keep the white in amongst the reds. As John alluded to in one of the earlier frames, with this type of shot, with screw, the easier you hit it, the more angle you can make. He's not quite sure if he can hold for the middle of the 3 reds there that are in a line, if he could catch the middle one, but he couldn't. He had to play the other and just... If this one goes in the right corner, he's okay. If it doesn't, he's out of position.
8.
It's amazing. You can put the white right in amongst the reds and you're not on a pot. The only possible pot is the one up into the corner, and he's right on top of that. Well, this is tough to judge because he's quite close to it. Oh, he's got it.
Yes, as we've shown you in that super slow, good, clean strike of the ball. Well, a little bit straight on this red, maybe. Just got to force it this side of the baulk line to be on a baulk colour. Oh, just enough angle to do that. In fact, that good an
60.
angle, he was able to play for the blue and played it inch perfect. Great chance now for Ronnie. You'd be very surprised if he didn't get enough to get to the snooker's required stage, the way the reds are spread. Black available into both corners, and he'd love to get on that red just to the left of the black sooner rather than later, and then that just clears a path from both sides of the table to get on the black. And I would suggest very, very worrying times for Barry Hawkins, this. He was looking for a good start this morning.
29.
He's not got it. There'll be a mid-session interval after this
30.
frame. I know he does a lot with Terry Griffiths. Terry will have to work some magic.
Because if Ronnie goes on to win this frame, it'll be 9 frames in a row.
37.
Like Barry Hawkins has only managed to score 9 points this morning because he's had very little chance. He's let that one slip. That would annoy him slightly.
45.
I don't think it's in line for the pocket, the plant, but because he played such a poor positional shot, he might take it on. He did, and it's there.
46.
Well, of course, that's the difference. Ronnie playing with all the freedom that you can go for anything. Barry Hawkins has not got that luxury.
I mean, if he can go on to win this match quite comfortably, Ronnie, and it looks like he's going to do that. I'm just thinking the other semi-final, Mark Selby and Neil Robertson, they're going to have such a battle, and he's certainly going to be fresher than his opponent will be, but there's still a long way to go, but he's certainly on his way into the final. Is the defending champion.
54.
Just a quick glance at the scoreboard. Well, there you go. Ball spotted this session. 100, well, 101 now, Ronnie. Just 5, Barry Hawkins. One-sided or what?
59.
But that's the nature of snooker. And he had a couple of chances early on this morning, Barry. He wasn't able to make them count.
60.
And then before you know where you are, particularly with a talent like Ronnie O'Sullivan, before you know where you are, the first 4 frames are over and you've lost them. So now 51 points to lead, 67 remaining.
65.
Red, colour red required.
66.
If he's straight on this pink, it's not a formality. After the pink will put him 58 points in front, 59 remaining, couldn't be straighter. The next red is not a certainty.
Just reckoning the score up, it doesn't give you the running total. You've got to work it out yourself, and sometimes, especially early in the morning, sometimes your brain's a little bit scrambled.
I don't know about you, Dennis, this early in the morning I had a problem seeing the scoreboard.
72.
Just the red needed.
And there is that red that John mentioned. I mean, he's brilliant with his right hand. He's brilliant with his left hand. And he's not too
78.
shabby with the rest. There's not many weaknesses.
Yeah, I'm always
79.
amazed how good he is with the rest, because as you say, he doesn't use it often, does he? Well, he's okay. He didn't expect the cannon, but he's just about on this red.
87.
Possible back-to-back centuries. He's on fire is the rocket.
93. 94.
In fact, he'll go ahead of Neil Robertson. This will be his 9th century.
Well, it is absolute pleasure to watch. It really is. You feel for Barry Hawkins.
103.
But it's just tremendous snooker. And not only the potting and the break building, the safety, the match play side of it. That's what's really put lots of pressure on Barry Hawkins. Well, the brown doesn't go in, but that won't matter to Ronnie. He'll be going back to the dressing room. Disappointment once again for Barry Hawkins. The Rocket got a skip in his step. He's won all 4 frames and now leads by 10 frames to 2.
Well, we are watching one of the great British sportsmen doing what he does best. Ronnie O'Sullivan in complete control against Barry Hawkins, and it's turning out to be yet another nightmare for Barry Hawkins today. So Ronnie O'Sullivan looking so impressive. Remember, there's another session this evening and another session scheduled for tomorrow. Whether we get that far remains to be seen. At the moment, doesn't look like it. Barry Hawkins with it all to do in this semi-final. The other last 4 match that we'll be showing you later this afternoon is Neil Robertson, the world #1, taking on Mark Selby. It's a repeat of the UK Championship final, which of course Robertson won, but is this year going to be Mark Selby's year at the Crucible?
Q action, I would have to pick Sean Murphy. So straight and hits the ball really well, as good as anyone on the tour. Ding Junhui, he's always been a great builder, and he's made many 147s over the last few years in tournament play. Neil Robertson. Ding Junhui, I mean, when he does make his breaks, the white ball's never more than 3 or 4 inches beyond the object ball, which is the idea of the game. The legend Steve Davis. Neil Robertson, I mean, I think his temperament's great. You never know when he's winning or losing. He always gives it all, and his hunger for the game is second to none. Judd Trump, I'd have to say. I mean, the amount of times he pots a long ball and screws it back 10 times up and down the table is like, yeah, I don't think many players who can play that shot what Judd plays. Sean Murphy again, yeah, I think he's very good with the rest. I mean, we're more or less the same age, and his junior days, neither of us was that tall, and we were both using it quite a lot, and I wasn't as good, and he used to never miss a pot what I can remember, and even still now he's very good. I have to say Mark Allen. I think in the World Championships a few years ago when he played O'Sullivan, it's not easy to beat Ronnie at the best of times, but to beat him at the Crucible, when I think it was only Mark's first or second time there, showed great character. Stephen Hendry, the amount of times he used to do that when his back was against the wall, 40 or 50 points behind, and win the frame was phenomenal. O'Sullivan for that. I mean, once he gets in front, I mean, he sort of steamrolls you, and it's very hard to catch. Ken Doherty is always, I mean, he gets his nickname Crafty Ken for that reason. I mean, he's very good at pinching the scrappy frames, and his awareness and cleverness around the table is great.
Lots of nods from Mark Selby there for Neil Robertson. They shared the first 4 frames of last night's opening session. We picked up in frame 5, Selby on a break of 48.
Well, we didn't see that
Mark
come.
Selby, 48.
But look where the cue ball was. He just hit it all wrong. Never got on the black. But he's been rather fortunate. I'll show you the miss in the middle pocket. That red could have landed anywhere once he missed it. But it came in the most awkward position. Prevents Neil from attempting any pot. That's a good shot there. Very good. Just watch the red. There was one available until this red come off the cushion past the black and just covered everything really. Well, this is going to test Mark Selby here. If he's going for the 2 cushion escape to flick off the red. Don't be surprised if he doesn't miss it on the first attempt. He's hit it too thick and he's left the lot on here. That's why I thought he might even miss it on the first attempt. You know, missing it is better than hitting it thick like that.
1.
And these 2 reds are available into the same pocket as the black or the middle, but you'd prefer to screw back, leave them in the same pocket.
Eight. Nine.
Want that red to go on the cushion. The fact that it's just pulled up in time makes it a little easier to get on.
I'm wondering if Neil thought the blue was on its spot there because
ball.
he hasn't got the angle. That's why he's taking the pink, and look where he's hitting the cue ball. Look at that, to get that backspin. Beautifully played.
And it appears to be the perfect angle on the red to get onto the black. Could have been straight on this red. He would have struggled to get on the black, but as you can see from that picture there, just a plain ball run through, and it's perfect. Can you believe it? It fooled Mark Selby earlier on in this match.
15.
Mark Selby played near jaw, it didn't go in. Neil Robertson just played near jaw there, and once again, it hasn't gone in. On the other the tables up until including this match, Dennis, they've always been going in off that near jaw on the other tables. This table doesn't accept it.
1.
Well, I did think Neil was going to pinch this frame. Just touched that near jaw. So it'll be a pretty relieved Mark Selby that
8.
almost had this frame pinched from him.
10. 13. 17. 22. 28.
'Well, he will be mighty relieved, Mark Selby. He looked as if he was going to take the frame quite easily at an earlier break of 48, but Neil Robertson had a chance until he missed that red. But Mark won't mind that. He leads 3 frames to 2.
Well, Selby then took the next 2 frames to lead 5-2. Into frame 8 we go. Robertson to play. There is no score.
Needs to pull up.
1.
Makes such a difference getting the correct side of the blue as we show you the white come back up the table, and needed to stop just about there, and it kept on going. But we know the sort of cue power that he possesses, so just have a look at the cue ball here. He might split the reds even. Have a look at that. What a shot. He deserves to be on something here. Brilliant shot.
Well, Dennis, I totally agree with you. How he developed off the angle he had on that blue, the pace to get into that pack, that just shows you the cue power.
7. 14. 15.
He'll go into them here, you would feel. If he can just arc round and split them, he's got this red as a bit of insurance. Just watch the power of this. Yes. I say yes. Hope the black's not covering the red.
22.
No, he's okay. I'll just show you that spinning back.
23.
There's a very old saying, and I still love that saying, Willie. You know, when the going gets tough, eh, the tough get going, and that's what Neely's marching around the table at the moment.
Yes, he knows this is his best chance since the 3rd frame, where he scored a few points to get a frame on the board. And as we've already mentioned, a massive frame for Robertson fans. Played that nicely. The red at the back of the pack will pot.
28.
Needs an angle on the next black to get nicely on a last remaining red at the back of the pack. He has played that very nicely indeed. He can just screw back for the one red. He can go into them. He can play for the one in the middle pocket.
29.
3 options here.
He also had a glance at the 2 reds, just to make sure that they're not a plant. And 2 reds to the right, he had a look at those on the way around. He's got the angle to go straight into them again, but he's got that easy red to play on. The only thing is if he takes this red and then decides to cannon into them,
36.
he's got no red as a bit of insurance, so maybe the plant's on, you know. Well, it looks as if it's going to the left of the pocket, but he's glanced at that on a couple of occasions.
$37.
As I say, if he risks going into the reds here, you'll have to get lots of top spin, arc the white to bring them into play. He's usually pretty good at this type of shot. I think he's just okay. He's on this one for the left corner.
44.
Look at the white. You can see the white arc into the reds. It would have been better if he wasn't quite as close as this. I think he's okay though. Yeah, just about.
45.
Any closer and he could have pushed that, but he played it well. Well, what a time to produce your highest break of the match so far. Up
52.
until this frame it was only 46. He's come up a wee bit short here though. Can't avoid cannoning the other red there. So he's got to give this a little bit of care and attention. He's just looking to see when he cannons the other red. Wants to make sure he leaves himself on the pink.
$53.
Just a few more pots needed.
59. $60.
The blue will put him 65 in front. So another red in colour after the blue would be enough.
Yeah, you hit the nail right on the head, didn't you? When the
65.
tough get going, when the going gets tough, the tough get going, because this has been brilliant. Been kept off the table for the last 4 frames.
66.
And his first opportunity closes the gap to within 2. Just one more red needed.
That's the frame safe.
71.
I'm going to ask you a little question after this red, Willie. How many century breaks has
72.
Neil made this season?
Could be 101 in a minute. And in fairness, the way he's gone about this, he deserves 100. Selby made 133 in frame 4.
79.
To be fair, we've had everything in this session. We've had some fabulous tactical play that we've seen in the early part of the match. We've seen that magnificent 133 from Mark Selby, and now this.
87.
It's building up nicely, and it's still difficult to pick a winner of this one, Willie.
This is his possibly 8th century of the tournament, should he get it. Looks a little less concerned about getting the century now. That pressure's come off him. He had 3 or 4 great chances, didn't he, before he got the one last night?
There's another
96.
little record he could look at. Stephen Hendry's made the most centuries at the Crucible. He's made 15 one year.
Very well done, Neil Robertson.
103.
Very determined to make sure the gap was only going to be 2 frames going into tomorrow afternoon's second session. You'd expect one of the players to win 5-3 at least in every session, so it's not a problem, this.
110.
I think these boys won't have any problem sleeping this evening, Willie. A good night's rest and back again tomorrow afternoon.
115.
As you rightly say, Dennis, it's been a first-class session of snooker. To produce this, having lost the previous 4 frames without really having a scoring chance.
119.
Too much side, is it? Oh no, he's okay.
124.
Exhibition time.
Well, he couldn't quite reach it. What a fantastic session of snooker from these 2 great players. The number 1, the number 3 in the world have entertained this crowd. They get a standing ovation for the first session. Selby's done the important thing. He takes a lead into the second session, and that is by 5 frames to 3.
And you get a feeling that that one is going to go all the way here at the Crucible. That's our live match for you when we return on BBC Two at 1 o'clock. At 2:30, Mark Selby resuming against Neil Robertson. For now, though, we're concentrating on this semi-final between Barry Hawkins and Ronnie O'Sullivan. O'Sullivan in complete control. Let's rejoin our commentary team, John Virgo and Dennis Taylor.
Yes, thank you, Jason. And Barry Hawkins breaks off. Still without a frame in this morning's session so far. Just over, well, coming up to 3 hours and 35 minutes for the first 12 frames. And that pot success gives you a fair inclination of why the scoreline is as it is. And there you go. Early on in this match it was getting close to 20 minutes a frame, but Ronnie's just stepped it up a bit.
And there's the average shot time. Ronnie was at 15 seconds in his previous match, but it's still pretty quick at 20. But I was in the studio there in the practice area, and Terry was in with Barry Hawkins, and I just happened to say to Barry, who was putting a few balls, is the table playing a little bit tighter, the pockets? He said, don't ask me. But he was pretty relaxed. I mean, he's going under it out there, but he was knocking balls in for fun in the practice area, but he hasn't had many chances to score here. Ronnie's just been, well, devastating so far in this session. Bit of an awkward frame here with the pink and black tied up. So we'll have a little safety battle.
Yeah, nice little rub off the yellow, leaving that cue ball tight to the baulk cushion. He's found himself there a lot this morning, as Barry. Too thin, and well, maybe that bump on the middle pocket may just have helped him. Although, having said that, the red on the extreme left-hand side of the table does go to the right corner.
Well, he's picked another gem out there, and he's got the right angle on the yellow, and he might be able to do something about the pink and reds, or he could develop the black. He's got a couple of choices here. Let's see what he decides on, but he'll be trying to bring something into play here at the high scoring end of the table. That didn't quite work out, but yeah, we mentioned Steve Peters earlier. It's Dr. Steve Peters, and he's a sports psychiatrist, and he's been working with Ronnie for a couple of years, and I don't think Ronnie would be too bothered about missing that, because the black's tied up, the pink's tied up. Yeah, he's done wonders for the Liverpool football team as well, and he's working with the England squad, so he knows what he's about. Great man.
Well, he needs the green to help him here, does Barry? No, it hasn't. Ronnie can get through to this red, to the right corner. That was the problem, trying to miss those reds, and he hasn't done, and he can't get through to a colour.
Green ball.
So he's playing the green. Just missed it.
Ronnie O'Sullivan 1, Barry Hawkins 4.
No miss. The referee not call a miss there? They usually do.
Didn't hear anything, but I suppose there's no value in putting it back. He'd rather play a decent safety shot here, because he knows that Ronnie wouldn't have missed the green the second time. But yeah, interesting. I didn't hear any miss called. He did call the miss, did Leo Scullion. But there was no value in putting it back.
Well, it didn't look to be the best safety shot, that, from Ronnie, until the pink drifted across the table and covered the potting angle for this red. Never been any different in this game, has it, Dennis? If you're playing well, the balls always seem to run in your favour. You're struggling, the opposite.
Well, we'll see here how the run of the ball is. Yeah, good shot. He deserved that. He would have been unlucky to have gone in off the blue there. It's like all sports. You can have all the ability in the world. If you don't get that little run of the ball, it's so difficult. Can't beat a little bit of good fortune now and again. Just a bit like you on the old golf course, JV. You know. See, that's a clever shot. Nowhere to go there, Ronnie. Just a containing shot, but a good one. He'll be back down the table again. Just trying to find a spot where he'll make it as difficult as possible for Ronnie. You'd think the red next to the pink would be the one to play off.
Not a bad shot, but if Ronnie's got a path back to balk down the left-hand side of the table, which it appears to be, then shouldn't be a problem getting this safe. Play off those two reds in the middle of the table that are close together. They're not a plant. Just hit the left-hand one of the two. Anything less than quarter ball should send this cue ball back towards green and blue.
Well, he has left a cut in, but I mean, where's the cue ball going to go? I mean, if he takes this on, he could bring the black into play, but he'll have to get the pot. The natural angle is going to cannon into the reds to the right of the black as we look at it. A little bit aside. As long as he avoids the red that's to the left of the one he's taking on, but he must get the pot. Well, I say he must get the pot. He hit it that thick that the white has canned the red and stayed up this side of the table and knocked the black safe.
That's the worrying bit, isn't it? And a little shake of the head there from Barry. Not even close. Didn't even get the red in the jaws. It's tough out there for him at the moment. No doubt about that.
Well, he's looking at the pot into the middle pocket, and he'd love to get on the blue and get it back on its spot.
One.
That's exactly what he's played for. The pink and black out of commission, blue back on its spot. You'd have a bit of a chance. You were right down Ronnie's cue there, and you could see that pause at the end before he delivered the cue. That's the key. Just watch the pause, stop there, bang. It's the secret. Looks easy. It's far from it.
7.
This is where I also enjoy watching Ronnie, the way he goes about this. With the two high-valued colours out of play, It's fascinating to watch how he goes about making a break when they are a little awkward like this.
Yes, most of us think that just having the blue and bought colours available, it's very hard to win a frame from this position, but you wouldn't put anything past this man.
10.
Yes, justified applause. Another beautiful positional shot. Close enough to the blue that he can hold this cue ball. The touch of a surgeon.
15. $16.
Slightly the wrong side of the blue, so. But I think he loves the challenge of trying to make a break from this sort of position.
21.
I think that's a little awkward this time. I can't see an easy red to get back to the blue. This one will cut in the middle, but he'll be heading towards the pink, so maybe he'll try and develop the pink. Oh, end of break.
Yes, he did have half an eye on trying to bring the pink into play, but just couldn't make contact with the pink. But this has been the one thing with Ronnie. When he has run out of position like this, doesn't drop his head, now concentrates on the next shot. And the next shot is trying to play a good safety and get that cue ball tight to the baulk cushion.
Ronnie O'Sullivan, 22.
Just making it so difficult for Barry Hawkins.
There's a possible pot on here with a safety shot. Oh, don't hit the middle. Well,
Ronnie O'Sullivan.
that's cost him 4 points. I don't think he's left anything easy, but I mean, to get the, as he looks to the heavens, to get the white in the middle pocket at that pace would be a good shot just to shoot the white in without it touching a ball. But look at that, at that pace, and to go straight in the middle pocket. As I say, he hasn't left anything.
Well, this red will cut to the left middle, but it's fraught with danger. I think the cue ball may be running into other red, so too dangerous to play. He could play it into the left corner, but being so close to the cushion, you'll have to be digging in a little bit, you feel. And he knows if he makes one more mistake in this frame, it could be his last. Tough shot, this. Well, in the end, they played it purposely like that, trying to bring the black into play. Wasn't a bad idea. Just didn't get that cue ball back to the baulk cushion as he would have liked. Didn't play the pot here. He was purposely trying to run that red into the black, which he did, hoping to bring the black in a potable position. He did go for the pot, but look at that cue ball once again.
Just had a quick glance to see if one of these reds had passed the pink. He'd be playing the safety shot, but no, nothing goes there, so just the safety. Pretty good. Possible pot for Ronnie to go at, with safety in mind also. One of the shots that we call shot to nothing. Safe if you miss it. Oh, a rare miss hit from Ronnie as he got away with it. It's amazing. There's a half chance, but once he played the poor shot, you would have thought he would have had something easier than this to go at. This red passes the blue up into the corner, but under the circumstances, when you've been kept off the table, look at that, 32 minutes and 25 seconds and counting since his last pot. You'll get a great cheer if this goes in. Well played. Oh, and he got a kick. Did you see how the white jumped in the air there? Come on, Barry, let's see if he can knock a few in. He'll be trying so hard here. He's lost 9 frames in a row. I think everyone would love Barry to win a frame.
Nine. Ten.
Well, that's where we have to leave you here on BBC Two for now, but coverage of this match continues on connected televisions, computers, tablets and smartphones as well. Ronnie O'Sullivan leading by 10 frames to 2. But don't worry, we'll be back at 1 o'clock with live coverage of Neil Robertson taking on Mark Selby. That starts at 2:30. So join me, Steve Davis, Stephen Hendry and Ken Doherty from 1 o'clock. See you then. Bye for now.
Next on BBC Two, Daily Politics with a Machiavelli